I don't want to go vegan. I like my meat. This is the most honest answer I get from omnivores. And this is the answer that I actually would love to get from everyone that is acknowledging that they don't want to give up meat. And I tell you why this is important because oftentimes conversations start with someone that eats meat on the benefit of not eating meat for the planet, the animals, our health, and a million excuses will come up. How science shows that we are meant to eat meat. In fact, some people go as far as saying we are carnivores, as you know, from this movement that has taken over the internet. Then we also told that is not feasible because what are we going to do with all these animals? And then we are told that it's for health because we need meat to survive. How are you going to work your muscles if you don't have meat? By the way, those are made with plants. So I want to take you back to that honesty of I don't want to. And I know how it feels. And I was the one making excuses for the longest time. I wasn't born vegetarian. I didn't grow up in a vegetarian family. My parents were not wise people that learned about this and were, you know, advanced enough to be vegetarian and or vegan, in fact. My grandmother was very much afraid of not being healthy coming post-war when she had no food. If meat was on the table, fish was on the table, that was a blessing. And so we were taught that we were lucky to have these body parts as part of our meals because they were healthy. And so there's a lot of stuff that has to be broken down into before, of course, I understand you can even see the point of becoming vegan or vegetarian. But this is 2026. And we have not only science that shows that a plant based diet can be incredibly beneficial, in fact, is healthier than a lot of other Western diets. I'm not saying it's the healthiest diet. Scientifically, that would be wrong. And I am a naturopath. I'm not going to talk BS. You can be very healthy on what the gold standard is, a Mediterranean diet. And not what they eat now in Italy and Spain. That's not a Mediterranean diet. A Mediterranean diet is a diet that is plant forward with a little bit of fish, a little bit of fermented cheese in case, or yogurt such as Greek yogurt, nuts and seeds, but mostly plants. So you can be healthy with that, yes. And in a small community, maybe the impact wouldn't be as massive, right? If they were growing the food and raising their animals and unfortunately killing them locally and eating them, that wouldn't have a big impact. But most people do not eat that Mediterranean diet, do not eat in that way. They don't live in the blue zones where these practices are actually done. What they do is they go to the supermarket and they buy body parts already packaged for them, refrigerated, so they don't see what is behind of that. Behind that, there is cruelty, there is impact on the planet by monoculture of food that could go to us, but instead is GMO'd and goes to animals such as corn and soy. Food that is not fit for them, by the way, but is great for them to grow faster. That also, by the way, increases their omega-6 fatty acids versus a wild animal would have a good balance of omega-3 and omega-6s because they are not fed these foods that are not natural to them. They are grass fed, they eat in nature. So there is a trickle down effect, and there is a understanding that is not as straightforward. So it is healthy to be on a vegan diet if you do it correctly, whole food, plant based. Remember, every food that you eat, you need to consider what nutrients are you getting because we don't live by food, we live by nutrients in the sense that if we have a diet that encompasses different foods, different kind of vegetables and fruit and beans and other pulses, and rice and quinoa and buckwheat, so all the grains, we actually can be incredibly healthy because we would get all the nutrients, macro and micro. You're not going to be deficient in protein. You're not going to be deficient in zinc. You're not going to be deficient in calcium. With the caveat, of course, that on a plant based diet, we might need to supplement certain things, such as B12, such as D3. You know what though? Omnivores also have to supplement D3 because at the end of the day, I work with a lot of clients and patients who are not vegan. They're all deficient in D3 because everybody's away from the sun. And if they are in the sun, it's just not long enough. It's not the summer anymore. It's a week in the summer. So that hormone needs support sometimes. Iodine, another one that even omnivores are deficient in, and this is why we have iodinized salt, for example, or you can take an algae supplement like kelp. Or, for example, we have um, what is deficient? Oh, nothing else really. Choline people are worried about, but you know what? The most amazing vegetables that has so much choline that comes out of your ears? Cauliflower. So you actually can get everything you need on a plant-based diet. Me, if I'm forgetting anything, oh yes, of course, the EPA and DHA. This is a conversion that happens from omega-3 fatty acids, ALA, and that conversion is not that we don't get the EPA and DHA necessarily. We should convert it, but not everybody converts efficiently. So we could supplement it, and we do from algae. So you see, we actually can live a very healthy diet, and it's not a problem to be on a plant-based diet if you do it correctly. So that argument should really go outside of here. Then I get the argument of, well, it's not good for our digestive system to have so much fiber. That argument I think I have covered a million times on the internet, but basically the problem is not the fiber. The problem is your digestive system because your little guys in there, the microbiome, the microbiota, the bacteria, the healthy ones, they're not happy. So what they need is rehabilitation. Think about a gym for your microbiome. So we want to work these guys to be able to break down the fiber, which is their food, not ours. We don't break down fiber in our digestive system per se. They do though, and with that, they can actually create short chain fatty acids such as butyrate. And so amazing. We have these great guys that can build muscle by having fiber. But when you take it away, when you strip it away, they are not able to break down fiber. So you may have had dysbiosis, which is a problem, this basically an imbalance of your gut bacteria before going on, say, a carnivore diet. You feel good when you go on a carnivore diet because you remove the fiber because you didn't have a good bacteria situation in here, a good environment. So what you need to do is if you go on this carnivore diet as an elimination diet, you can actually rehabilitate your gut to be amazing on plants. So taking the problem out, you're not actually solving the problem. You're taking just one of the triggers out. But the problem is still there. The problem is your digestive system. So that argument is also outside the window. We have science to prove all this. It's not just me thinking that is correct. It is correct. It's proven. You can follow Dr. Boltzwitz. You can follow Dr. Alan Desmond. You can follow Dr. Matt Nagra. You can follow dietitian, my colleague Brenda Davis, who's also always packed with science. You can follow Simon Hill. You can follow so many people that actually will give you the studies. So and explain it well and interview experts in the field from universities, from medical science backgrounds that are studying this and even doing research. You can look at Zoe Nutrition for more information. They have an amazing medical team. So you can learn all this. It's out there. I don't have to give it to you right now. I'm just explaining why actually being honest about why we don't want to give up the meat is the better way instead of finding all these excuses. And so when it comes to I don't want, this is my question to you. A lot of people that say I don't want to change, want children, want to live a good, healthy life on this planet, want to enjoy nature. They love nature. They love to go for walks. They like to be in the sea. They love to even go snorkeling or even scuba diving and seeing these beautiful beings in the ocean. Well, you know what? What we eat has a massive impact on all the things you love. And if you want children, what we eat not only has a massive impact on the planet now, but in the future, meaning your children might not have a planet to live on. We are fragile, we die, and we die naturally. We have an expiration date as human beings. But if the planet continues this way, we will die en masse. We will die because populations of the planet, humankind, will not be able to sustain itself. And to that little comment about what are we going to do with these animals that are here now, the sad truth is that there will be a transition period where these animals will die for food, possibly, for sure. We don't want to waste either. But what happens is that down the chain, at the beginning of the chain, in fact, we don't impregnate them. We actually can neuter a lot of them so they don't have more beings. But anyway, the food that we consume, they are not having beings that are becoming food. They're not having their babies for fun. They're having it because we impregnate them manually. If you look at the dairy industry, you can see what I mean. Look it up on YouTube. It's not censored. And you can learn about that. So, yes, there will be a transition period that which is cruel. But the ultimate goal, if we all went plant-based, or the majority at least, because I know there will be always the ones that won't do it, we can save a lot of energy, water, land, lives. I think that in 2026, with the knowledge, the wisdom, the accessibility, and also the fact that we can educate you to grow your own food and be part of a movement that means regenerating the earth, the soil, that alone is worth it. And for those of you who think that we don't have enough food, if we all had a little patch or communal patches where we actually go and do it, if the cities would implement even more growing patches for us, if we rehabilitated the land instead of just building these blocks, these squares that become homes, we could do so much more. It is about how we approach our choices. We have to find a balance. Yes, I don't believe in the natural fallacy that everything that is natural is perfect. No, otherwise, nature is cruel too. It thrives. It wants to survive, and we are bugs to nature. So it would want to destroy us. Yes, there are of course plants that are poisonous for us. There are plants that are even medicinal, but if you don't take them well, they can kill you. A spider can kill you. Like there is so much that nature can do that harms us as human beings, which is why we created this developed world where we have the food supply that we have and so on to survive. But we can coexist in a peaceful way with nature because we have the knowledge, we have the tools, we have the technology. Now we have so much more. We're not surviving per se. We need to balance out because what happens is that we became the predators of nature and every living being in nature too. So I hope that this just awakens a question mark. But I want to invite you to join me at Elevate, the conference that we have here in Portugal, 9th to 11th of October. If you're not in Portugal, we will be streaming it online like we did last year, maybe a little bit more organized. And then we will also welcome you here if you want because it's free. We are in Braga, which is 30 minutes, 35 minutes from Porto. You can drive here easily. You can fly to Porto and have a beautiful holiday. Northern Portugal is beautiful and join us. We have international speakers that will join us online as well as in presence, in body. And we will also have amazing Portuguese speakers, lecturers, academics, scientists, politicians. This is all about educating you. But what I also want to bring forth is that you will be part of this conference. You will be participating. You will be actually even having a little project that you will do at the conference to learn a little bit more. And we're also involving beautiful students to make art that has got to do with the environment, regeneration, animal care, and animal welfare. And I mean, as in being well and living. And then, what the future holds. You are the future. You are here because you have a job, and that's to usher this planet, the beautiful planet we call home. So let's treat it like our own homes.